We just got sales figures for China for electric cars, and they're totally blowing my mind. This is unquestionably the biggest EV sales record in the history of China. Now, if we combine the recent sales numbers we've just seen in Europe, increases of around about 80% versus last year, then we're looking at EV adoption that has hit a truly staggering speed this year. Here are the sales I have so far for most of the big electric car companies in China. The numbers are actually pretty amazing. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. Great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Tesla, we don't have their sales in China just yet, but we do know Tesla has just revealed it's upgraded the Model Y. Of course, you've seen the pictures, probably the drone images. There is thousands, and I'm talking probably maybe even tens of thousands of the new Model 3 sitting in the car park in Shanghai and also at the ports in Shanghai that are ready to go out to customers. And this year, only 30% of China's sales, or Tesla China's sales worldwide, have been the Model 3 because demand has been a lot lower than for the Model Y, but that's going to change, of course, with these new versions. This new upgraded version of the Model Y has a little bit more range. The standard range model has a lot more power, 70 to 100 horsepower more. Now, this is not the American version. You guys, of course, don't have the standard range at the moment. You have to get the long range. Tesla have not been offering the standard range, or at least the 4680 battery cell powered cheapest range of the Model Y, because I think they're using those battery cells in the Cybertrucks that they're trying to pump out of the factory in Texas. Anyhow, from what I can tell, Tesla sales are likely to break records in China. So will BYD. Now, BYD sold 274,000 electric cars and plug-in hybrids last month. Most likely, from what we've seen, that number has increased slightly to around 280 to 285,000. But let's start with the lowest selling vehicle manufacturers. Surprisingly, the lowest seller sold a lot of cars. Nita delivered 13,211 fully electric cars. That's an increase of 9.15% versus August. But versus last year, well, it's a fairly moderate increase for Nita. Nita, I think, sell the best value, dollar for dollar, electric cars in the world, period. Now, they need to expand badly because people are missing out on what are really, really good cars at incredibly affordable prices. I think that if Nita were selling their cars in, for example, Europe, in the budget price segment, they would just be killing it. Anyway, next up we have Xpeng. Xpeng delivered a total of 15,310 cars in September. That's an increase of 81% year on year. They had a pretty bad month in September of last year, so they've really rebounded. A lot of this is thanks to the new version of, I believe, the G9, and that's quite a nice car. They've had a lot of orders for that car. The G6, apparently that's had some nice upgrades as well, so that's really helped Xpeng because Xpeng delivered 8,132 of the new version of the G6. Basically, it's a car a little bit bigger than a Tesla Model Y, or actually similar, but in terms of the actual boxiness, it makes it a bit bigger. So therefore, that car makes up around 65% of all of Xpeng's sales in the month of September. It's kind of saved the company, and Xpeng were hoping that would happen. Well, so has the Volkswagen Group. They've come along and invested into Xpeng. So next up, NIO. NIO delivered 15,641 EVs, so almost identical sales delivery figures as Xpeng. That's an increase for NIO of 44% year over year. Now, it's still a relatively smallish number considering 95% of NIO's sales are still in China, but it's good to see both of these car companies grow. And what does this mean? NIO actually saw a sales decline of 20% versus the previous month. So good numbers versus the previous year, but versus August, 20% decline. And as far as I can tell, that was probably the only company that had a decline in sales versus the previous month in China. Leapmotor. Leapmotor delivered 15,800 vehicles, so nearly the same figures as NIO and Xpeng in September, which was an increase of 11.5% from August. And that is a company record. This is the best numbers that Leapmotor have ever delivered in China. In fact, it means their sales are up 43% versus the same month last year. Li Auto was next. Now, Li Auto don't actually have any purely electric cars yet. They only sell plug-in hybrids, but they are working on fully electric cars and they plan on selling a lot of them within the next few years. Li Auto delivered 36,000 vehicles in September. That's an increase of 212% year on year. As you can see, Li Auto's sales figures, they used to be similar to Nio and Xpeng, but they've just gapped them entirely. Their sales now are more than double their rivals of Nio and Xpeng. Now, why do I mention Nio and Xpeng with Li Auto? Because they're kind of considered the three unicorn companies in China. There's a bit of a mythology and excitement around, well, there has been around those three car companies. So 36,000 deliveries, increase of 212% for Leapmotor. Next was Aion. Aion, as far as I can tell, are the fastest growing electric car brand in the world, just in front of BYD. They delivered 51,600 electric cars in September, up 72% year on year. Now, this car company does plan on selling their cars, which is really good, in Europe, Australia, New Zealand, many countries around the world, Thailand, I believe, as well. So I think this company will continue to grow at a very, very impressive number. And worth considering here is they have a couple of different cars with a claimed CLTC range of over 1,000 kilometers. They have their own really impressive battery technology, very fast charging, around 350 kilowatt charging speeds. Plus, they have battery technology that, like I said, that's actually really next level, very, very high energy density batteries. So getting these cars, which probably have a real world range of about 800 kilometers or, around 500 miles, will absolutely change the electric car landscape. So if we put all this together, put all the car sales together here, you can see most of these car companies had record sales numbers or massive improvements over the past 6 months or versus the same month last year. If we include the fact that BYD actually, apparently, we don't know for sure, but they appear to have broken their personal record for sales worldwide as well, we have an incredible month here. Preliminary data from the Chinese government says that September was the best-selling electric car month on record in China, and not by just a tiny bit, by probably 10%. EVs are growing at a rapid rate, and it's truly exciting to see. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching.